In our multicultural and multilingual South African society, there is one great equalizer, one factor that knows no boundaries of age, gender, class, race, religion, or language: cancer. Cancer in its various forms is currently the fourth biggest killer of South Africans, despite the fact that most common cancers can be treated if detected early enough. Which begs the question, why are so many of our people succumbing to this insidious disease? Two of the major obstacles to successful treatment are also, unfortunately, the two biggest obstacles to any successful venture: money and resources. Cancer is a global problem, but one which can be targeted effectively if we have the money and the resources. In South Africa, the problem is compounded by the lack of access to effective treatment that most of our population live with, as well as the huge costs of cancer treatments. The majority of the South African population cannot afford top-tier medical aids and are left with the choice of either going into crippling debt or giving up and dying.
She said to me, "I wish I could tell you something else, but I can't. It's cancerous." So I said, "No, it's fine. It's not what I expected, but I would deal with it." The price of this medicine it's I would say out of the reach of most normal people. And I was absolutely shocked. And when I phoned doctor to find out if this was correct, he said to me I had to decide whether my life was worth this R500,000 or not. Now, how do you put a value to your life? I have a family, I have children, I have a husband, and I'm only 50 years old, I was then, and I have got too many things to do. I didn't want to die. So things start going through your mind. I'll sell my house, I'll sell my car.
Only 8.5 million people in South Africa have medical aid, and of those probably less than 2 million have comprehensive medical aid.
There are effective treatments that are available. The popular documentary program, Carte Blanche, aired an episode, and the message that viewers were left with was that pharma companies and medical aid schemes have the tools but are more concerned with the financial bottom line than with saving patients.
So what do you do when you're knocked down by potentially fatal disease and your medical aid refuses to cough up?
The contents of this strip will cost Cheryl about 26,000 Rand. This is her 14th treatment, and she's had to cash in policies, take out a second bond, and use her savings to pay for it. In fact, Cheryl pays the cash out up front before each dose is administered.
Do I leave it and live for 6 months? Do I find the money and live for 10 years?
So do big pharmaceutical companies have an interest in bringing down the cost of these drugs for us?
At the moment, it's very much up to the individual medical aid whether they will work with us and give the patient these expensive drugs.
So should your medical aid spend your money paying for these drugs? And what about the potential increase of subscriptions? Or is the cost simply too high?
But now there is a way that these patients are able to get the treatments they need to keep cancer from destroying their lives and the lives of their families. The Innovative Cancer Care Foundation. The ICCF is an initiative started by a number of pharmaceutical companies, oncologists and volunteers that seeks to offer cancer patients a solution to ongoing cancer care.
Most chemotherapies need to be continued for a prolonged period of time to ensure that that ongoing destruction of the cells carries on. And by having to stop the treatments halfway through a course or having to stop the treatments prematurely, you're obviously disadvantaging patients significantly.
We have several challenges, obviously, in treating cancer patients. Access to care is a big one. We struggle to get access to some drugs in the private sector and in the public sector.
They realize that they are not able to afford some of these medications in a lot of circumstances, or they don't know where they're going to find the money to co-fund or co-pay.
By giving patients the chance to continue treatments they could not otherwise afford, the ICCF is sharing the burden of cancer care. It shares the burden of the oncologists making treatment decisions based on cost of treatment rather than efficacy. It shares the burden of the medical aid scheme by reducing the funding risk and facilitating patient access to innovative cancer care. And it shares the pharma company's burden of restricted patient access to cancer care medicines and treatments due to financial limitations.
Having lost two of my own children, I know firsthand the trauma and pain that a family experiences when they're seeking out solutions to dreadful problems and there are no solutions.
You can help share the burden as well. We are constantly looking for partners, not only from pharma companies and medical aids, but from all areas that are involved in the fight against cancer. Radiology, pathology, hospitals, businesses that impact on the patient and on the patient's funds. Your contribution helps patients get the treatment that can mean the difference between life and death, that can mean extra time with families. And your contribution, be it financial or otherwise, is not only used for medication. It is also used for the refurbishment of cancer wards in hospitals like Bloemfontein and Charlotte Maxeke to give the patients and the staff an environment where hope can triumph over despair. Help share the burden today. Help the Innovative Cancer Care Foundation give the people of South Africa access to treatments and services that could save their lives.